So I'm really excited to be with all of you and to welcome you for another week of Tikva through text as we seek hope in Jewish texts. And I'm very excited to welcome back Rabbi Allison Vann. She has taught this group before, and she's back today to explore what it means to have hope in hard times. Rabbi Vann is from the Shaker Heights, Cleveland area, and by way of bio, she just told me she just dropped off her kid at college and is a first-time empty nester. So if you have advice or you want to commiserate or congratulate her, you can do that in the chat. And I'm just going to turn things right over to Rabbi Vann.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm so glad to be back. I had such a good time doing this last time, and I'm looking from where everyone is, and I feel like I could play Jewish geography from with everyone here and use up our whole half hour. So I won't do that. I love the idea of getting some advice. So if you want to put in the chat any advice for a first time empty nester, I literally got back on Saturday and my kid is really far away. He's in Vermont and I'm in Cleveland. So although someone here is from Finland, so that's not that far away. Please put something in the chat that would be helpful. I would love that. So I'm going to share, hopefully, I was telling Micah that I have a new computer and I don't know how to use it. So hopefully that'll work. Can you see that? Yay, I did it. Okay. Do I need to make it a little bigger for anybody?
I think that would be good. If you can make it fill the whole screen, that would be better.
All right, let's see. How's that? Good. All right, look at that. Someday I'll know how to use a computer. Okay, so here's the blessing for study. So please feel free to join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. And the translation that I've chosen, blessed are you, Adonai, your presence fills creation. You guide us with your mitzvot and command us to soak ourselves in the words of Torah. And I love that translation because la'asok and soak helps us to remember what the words mean. So today we're going to look at hope in hard times. And so I wanted to start just with this idea of what does tikva, what does hope mean? So tikva in this definition or understanding, tikva means hope, the translation, hope, expectation, something yearned for or anticipated. Something that we don't always know is that when we think about this word tikva, it is found in Torah and scripture 33 times. So we're going to explore just a couple of places that we find it in Tanakh throughout the entirety of the of Torah, prophets, and Ketuvim. The root of tikva I find fascinating. It comes from the verb kava, which means to stretch like a rope. So the first question I don't want to listen to myself talk. So how can we get from to stretch like a rope, kava, to hope? How are those related? I'm going to stop the share. And Sabrina.
When I hope, I stretch my expectations.
That's fabulous. Thank you. Anyone else? Aviva and Yehuda.
Along that same vein, the idea of hope is what allows us to look into the future. Without hope, there's no ability to envision a future.
So we're stretching our eyes to the future. Oh, beautiful.
And we're expanding because when there's a hope of a future, there's an ability to flourish and expand.
Gosh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Micah. And then Susan.
Susan was first.
Okay, thank you. Susan, go ahead.
I was going to say hope is the tension between pushing and pulling, which I like. And also hope is a tug of war.
Oh my gosh.
on each end.
Yeah, I feel like I want to do this for the whole half hour. This is amazing. Micah.
I think with hope, there's some kind of a stretching of spirit also, where
Mm.
we have to sort of expand the possibilities, the ability to see possibilities within ourselves and to believe in the possibility of something that you can't see right now.
Mm. I love that. Thank you. I have this incredible image of my head of this rope like in my eye, like going forward, like a vista. Yeah, Michael.
Maybe similar. I think seeing beyond the obvious. You have a length of rope, it's a certain length, but by stretching it, you go further than what was obvious. And also at the same time, you're creating tension with that.
Mm. Nice. Bob, give you the last one and then Bob and then Cheryl, and then I want to go back to the text. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's it, because I think that the kava is the root also of kavanah, which is intention. Is that right?
Um, don't think it's the same root, but I love that connection. Cheryl.
When you're feeling hopeful, there are feelings of safety. And when you feel safety, you're able to stretch what you do and to, stretch out into other planes and to do more,
Mm.
to do things that you wouldn't have been able to do if you weren't feeling safe, if you weren't feeling hopeful.
I love that. It's interesting. I didn't think you were going to go there. Um, I thought you were going to say when you feel safe, the rope holds you in. So I love what you said, and I appreciate, that. And this idea of a rope can be like a safety net as well when you feel safe. So beautiful. Thank you.
It can be like a safety net, but it can also be like say a child taking his first steps can be like they know the parent is there. So they've got the hope, they've got the safety that they can step away from the
Mm,
home base
so
because they
nice.
know the safety is there.
It's so nice, right? And have that tension also. The rope can be stretched, but is still there for them. So
Yeah.
nice. Thank you. These are amazing. Thank you so much. I just learned amazing things. So let's go back to this text that I created. And so it's found in scriptures 33 times. So what I want to, maybe some of you know this, but what I want to surprise you with is some of you is where is it found the most often in text is in the book of Job. So in the book of Job, I just provided one example. The word tikva is found 12 times. And here's just one verse. So there is hope for the wretched. The mouth of wrongdoing is stopped. So it's found 12 times out of the 33 times. And so 33 times is the entirety of Tanakh, Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim. So what does it teach us? That we find hope most often in the book of Job. So again, I'm going to stop the share. I'm a visual learner, so I hope it doesn't get a little hard for you to go back and forth like this, but I need the visual of a text. So, just a quick review. Job is when all these tests happen. Job's life is not so great. So, Susan, go ahead.
Well, I was just basically going to say what you said, that we usually think of, excuse me, the book of Job as being so hopeless, hopeless.
And so,
And
yeah,
and
hopeless.
lo and behold, his tale of woe is full of hope. And actually, I put in the chat that every day I hope that I'll do what I need to do around my house, which is very challenging because I'm easily distracted and I hate housework, but things have gotten to the extent that we don't let people in the house yet. So I have hope. And at the end of that hope rope is a tidy house that makes me feel serene.
Beautiful. Thank you. Sabrina.
And I'm not Job, but that's my job.
Okay. We're going to pull on that rope in a minute, I think. Sabrina.
Yeah, I think we need hope 12 times in the book of Job because Job is brought to the very lowest limits. And if he didn't have hope, he wouldn't continue to exist.
So hope exists in Job because it's necessary. Thank you. Thank you. Michael.
Well, so back to like a stretched rope, a rope doesn't stretch itself, and hope should not necessarily be passive. And like Job was not passive, he challenged God. And so maybe that's part of the lesson of, again, hope as an active process.
Can you say a little more about that?
I'm not sure. It's to hope and do nothing. Nothing will happen. It's I think you need to engage in the world and challenge the adversity you're experiencing, maybe in order to maintain hope. If you just sit back and say, "Woe is me, I hope it's better," well, then maybe it'll probably never get better.
And for anyone here, what did Job do that was active? And how does that allow hope to be apparent 12 times in the book? Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, he challenged the injustice that was happening to him, to the highest courts.
Yeah, to the highest courts, to God. Yeah, Micah.
Yeah.
Job also refuses to give up. He has these terrible things happen to him, and people tell him, give up, curse God, and Job refuses. He does not accept the arguments of any of his friends who try to tell him why this is happening, and he just refuses to believe that in hopelessness, I guess.
So is refusing to give up part of hope?
I think maybe. I think hope only exists if people cling to it.
If you give up, it's despair.
Okay. Sabrina, did you want to add something? Or is your hand still up
Yeah.
from the last time?
Oh, I'm sorry it was, but I did want to add, my ancestors would not have survived without hope, slavery. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Vicky.
Well, I do believe hope is an active process and that you have to do something. And in the persistency of believing that you can do something and take some action gives you the hope to go on. It's almost that still small voice within us that says, we've got to keep going. We've got to keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's nothing. So, you've got to have that within you to do that.
Yeah. Thank you. I hope it's okay, Susan, for me to say, the hope is that you're going to act on the house a couple of minutes or an hour or whatever it is a day.
Yes, well, I was just going to say I'd have to go clean the litter boxes, but I'll wait until this is over.
There you go. There you go. All right, let me jump back.
13 cats.
Oh my goodness. God bless you. So I want to shift and continue, maybe push a little bit on this idea of active, right? Because there's this really, really interesting translation of hope in the book of Genesis. And in the book of Genesis, the end of the book, it says, I wait for your deliverance, O Adonai. In this translation, the tikvah is translated as waiting, not as hope. Right? So it's not, I hope for your deliverance, but the standard translation is, I wait for your deliverance. How is the understanding instead of, I hope for your deliverance, I wait for your deliverance? How does that change our understanding of hope? Does that question make sense? I was a little awkward in the way I asked it. Okay. Jan, is your hand up?
Yes, yes. To me, in that context, hope involves a certainty, because if you're waiting for somebody, you're fairly certain they're coming.
Wow.
I hate waiting for somebody not knowing if they're coming. It's very, very stressed out. When waiting for, I want a certainty that they're coming.
You know, I took a whole bunch of notes for myself and answered these questions myself, and I did not write that down, and I love that so much. Thank you. Bob.
Isn't that quote from Jacob just at the moment when he loses his connection with the Shekhinah and he can't go on with what he thought that he was doing?
Mm-hmm.
In a way, I had that experience myself yesterday when my router didn't come back on after a power failure. And I had to take a few steps to figure out what to do and not just sit around hoping that it would work later on.
So when we wait, it's still active, is what you're saying. Or did I not understand you?
No, Jacob in that quote was trying to reconnect.
Mm,
And maybe that was active enough under the circumstances, I guess that it was.
okay. All right. Thank you. That's awesome. Aviva and Yehuda.
I have a quote that I actually keep up in my living room. Hopeless people are easily controlled and manipulated. Hopeful people can move mountains. This is by someone named Shannon Foley Martinez, who works with people who have become like white supremacists and, have given their life actions to violence. And she works with them and helps them to understand and change their actions, so to speak. But that the theme of hope is what runs through it all. The idea that hope is it is the only thing sometimes that moves you forward. So that I look at, I don't get political on these talks, but when you look at what we're really doing in some places in the world with our actions, is we're depriving people of hope. And once we do that, we have generations that can grow up hateful, willing to do terrible things. So hope can be a thread that kind of keeps you from drowning or from floating away or from disappearing, but it's also a thread that keeps us rooted to our ancestors and to a long tradition. So it's a two-way. The hope, the line of hope doesn't just tug us forward; it also keeps us connected from from being untethered.
It keeps us grounded in a way. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you. Aviva.
Oh, I did.
You said Aviva and Yehuda.
Oh,
It's
sorry, Aviva
weird.
King.
It's weird
Sorry.
that there's another Aviva because I'm not used to there being another Aviva. So I thought I had to do a double take and oh yeah, you weren't talking to me yet. I think the hope of waiting. I'm someone who's not good at waiting. Not good at waiting for other people to do things or not. I like to take action and do things myself. I've always had to and maybe if we look back in the Jewish people's history, Jewish people aren't good at waiting for people to do things. They always have to look at hope to keep going as well. In Israel and in World War II, exactly. When they were in Auschwitz, they had to hope and look into the future for something to hang on to and something to keep them going.
So I love that. The implication is that maybe we need to sometimes have a little patience. And we need to act like that there's a both and. maybe.
I see
Thank
Toby
you.
with a hand up as well.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Toby.
Hi, yes. I think, first of all, hope takes effort. You have to hang on to it. It just doesn't happen. You have to really hang on to it. I think a wait, as in Job, he is sure it's coming. He doesn't need hope because he is sure that in the end it's going to be okay because his faith in God is very strong. When you have hope, you're not quite so sure. And so you really have to put a concentrated effort on not losing that hope.
Lovely. Thank you. That's really nice. All right. I just looked at the time, so, you know. Um, So I want to go to some more contemporary texts. When I prepare, I typically prepare for double or triple the amount of time that we have. So if you notice me skipping texts, that's why. So one of my favorite authors is Rebecca Solnit. So I want to read to you one of her definitions, and she's not a particularly Jewish scholar, but I love what she has to say. Hope locates itself in the premises that we don't know what will happen and that in the spaciousness of uncertainty is room to act. When you recognize uncertainty, you recognize that you may be able to influence the outcomes, you alone or you in concert, with a few dozen or several million others. Hope is an embrace of the unknown and knowable, an alternative to the certainty of both optimists and pessimists. Optimists think it will all be fine without our involvement. Pessimists take the opposite position. Both excuse themselves from acting. It's the belief that what we do matters, even though how and when it may matter, who and what is may impact, are not things we can know beforehand. Or perhaps studying the record more carefully leads us to expect miracles, not when and where we expect them, but to expect to be astonished, to expect that we don't know. And this is grounds to act. I feel like she summarized all the texts we just read. And so what I love is hope is an embrace of the unknown and knowable, an alternative to the certainty of both optimists and pessimists. So I'll let you sit with that given our time. I want to look at, oh my God, my doorbell just rang. Sorry, I'm going to ignore it, but you're going to hear barking. Of all things working from home, I'm sorry if you can hear my dogs.
No.
So I want to look at Natan Sharansky's definition of hope. And we're going to look at the bold. The only answer is to find the meaning of your current life. It's best if you are left with only one hope, the hope of remaining yourself no matter what happens. Don't fear, don't believe, and don't hope. Don't believe words from the outside. Believe in your own heart. Believe in that meaning which was revealed to you in this life, and hope that you will succeed in guarding it. Is that different or the same of what we've been talking about? Any thoughts?
Hello?
Cheryl and then Susan.
Natan Sharansky lived through a really hard life before he was able to get out of Russia and go to, well, Soviet Union then, and go to Israel. And he would have had to hold on to hope for all those years that somehow, someday he was going to be able to get out. So I think I think for him, hope would have a very strong meaning
Okay. Thank you.
Of life.
Okay. Yeah. Susan, and then Aviva King, and then we're going to return to the text.
Well, I've been thinking of hope as a rope throughout this. And if you look at rope, it's not one solid thing. It's made up of threads and strings, whatever textiles you have. And I think of the rope thrown down the well, so the person trapped down there can grab on and be pulled up. But what I was going to say is that I think that all of these texts are threads in the same rope.
Thank you. What a great image. I appreciate that. Aviva King. You're muted. Aviva, you're muted. There you go.
The one before Natan Sharansky reminds me of a study we did where they were talking about the four people in the Haggadah.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the optimist and the pessimist. So you have the four children. And the one who doesn't want to be part. And doesn't want to be part of anything. And I have one daughter who doesn't want to be part of Judaism at all, and one daughter who's in grade 12, and I asked her, okay, doesn't look like we have any children coming to services. So that means if you're coming, you're sitting with the adults and you have to be able to sit and listen and stuff. Do you still want to come?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm still coming because since I was little, you taught me that's what you do at the high holidays. You come to services, you miss school, and you come to services.
Lovely.
I was so proud of her because she has ADHD. It's not easy for her to sit and listen. I was giving her an out. I was like, okay, so you make up the decision.
Wonderful. Thank you. I just looked at the time. So I want to, wrap up our time. So if hope is ubiquitous in Judaism, right? I mean, the Israeli national anthem is Hatikva. We have the word tikva somehow 33 times within our text. We have lived in hope throughout the tragedies of Judaism, and we know that hope is this rope that we pull on. And we've had now a couple of different understandings of what hope might be. We've had, 28 minutes to meditate on this, which is, a drop in the bucket. So now the challenge is, what is your and our definition of hope as we end our session? And so I leave this little bit of a blank slate for you to consider. Hope is. And we are facing hard times, right? Wherever we're in a divisive society, whether we're in the United States or Canada, someone in Finland, right? The conversations around Israel are very, very difficult. Our personal lives may be fraught. And so what is hope for you? What is that rope for you? And as we enter the High Holy Days, we're in the month of Elul, this deeply reflective personal time. So what is hope for you? And I'm going to read this last sort of spoken word poem by, I don't know how to say her name, Mosseline Park Harrison. And then we'll end our time together. Hope is seeing someone again, the sun blazing right in my eyes, finding the other sock, losing track of whose sweat smeared across my body, remembering what's next, Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 5, leaving something to be desired, sharing a favorite song, being proud of you, free Wi-Fi, making eye contact, smiling and walking away, big decisions, seeing nothing, feeling everything, pushing up a hill, exact change, writing to you on a cerulean colored postcard, the perfect tomato, systems, but only in theory, another round, knowing how it ends, getting in with no reservation, psychological capital. Did you get that? Letting the grass grow, the thing with feathers. Yes, but also no. No exceptions. Forgetting where you end and we begin. Coming back completely different. So that's her definition of hope. And I leave you during this Elul thinking about where you are with hope. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here, for teaching me, and for Rabbi Micah for this incredible opportunity. Lost Soap keeps growing and growing, and I hope you keep supporting it because I don't know about you, but this is so much fun for me. So thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Vann.
Thank
This
you.
was so wonderful, and thanks to everybody for this discussion. As I put in the chat, you'll see we're switching into high holiday mode here. I'm glad Rabbi Vann mentioned Elul at the end of her discussion here because we are now in those pre-days before the high holy days. Next week's topic, which I'll be teaching, anyone can do tshuva, a Hasidic approach to repentance. So we'll find some hope in the process of tshuva that we're all entering into now as the high holy days approach. Thank you, everybody, and early Shabbat Shalom, and we'll see you next week. Take
Thank
care.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Another good session.
Thank you. Take care.